Oh, our microphone was just muted. Hello, 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 beautiful people, and welcome back to another live experience. We are closing out our layoff to lift off series, and today we're talking about creating your own career circle. I am Leah Murphy, and I am really excited to be able to be back here with you. We do work here at Career Gems for the Journey all the time, really focusing on developing valuable content that's going to make your time invested, spent with us, pay dividends, extreme returns. We want ROI here. So, as we think about what we're going to talk about today, I want to make sure that we are reminded that we're closing out this series. And because we're closing out the series, you know that there's something new and exciting that's coming behind it. But I want to make sure that this feels like it is a value proposition, and specifically that we're kind of giving a bit of a shout out to some folks who may be a little bit more introverted or may have a personality type that kind of requires some uniqueness. And a lot of the advice that we've been giving over the course of this series has absolutely been phenomenal, evidence-based, tried and tested, but it also does require you to move really far out of your comfort zone if you are more of an introverted individual or you don't feel really comfortable in large groups. So I want to talk about how to build your own career circle and to do that in a way that's small and intentional. So if you're with me live, please do drop your city in the chat. I'd love to know who's riding with me on the live. And if you are watching the replay, I love that for you. I also love that for me too. Take full advantage of the opportunity to share this episode with someone or share this series with someone. We sincerely believe that you sharing is the highest compliment, but also we want to make sure that the information gets to as many people as possible. So if you're with me on LinkedIn, you can just share it in your LinkedIn community. If you're with me, joining me on YouTube, please do take advantage of sharing this information with others so that you can make sure that you are the plug for valuable information as we think about career development. So let's talk about how to build your own career circle, a small intentional group of people who really support each other beyond the job search in real long-term career growth and community building. So I'm encouraging you to take things to be a little bit more private. We're going to move offline in this discussion. So here's my unpopular opinion. Despite pop culture emphasis and all of the things that we are being fed consistently, you don't need to go viral per se. Your network and your group doesn't have to be something that is highly visible outside of your day-to-day. You don't need 1,000 connections. You don't need thousands of connections, although it's not a bad thing to have them. The opportunity that we're talking about is smaller and more intimate. We want to encourage you today to keep things potentially a little bit tighter, and that may mean moving offline. And when I say moving offline, it may seem really simple, but it's meant to be simple. It's meant to do that intentionally, because when you keep it simple and you move offline, it allows you to have a more organic experience that sometimes can feel much less performative and allow people to go deeper and invest more. So I want to encourage you to connect with 3 to maybe 5 people who are committed, generous, really aligned with your energy, and want to build community together. So let's talk about how to build that and the why behind it. The reason why is because it could be the most important thing that we do for our career in 2025 is to multiply our network of people who are deeply invested in seeing our career growth, to make that a mutually beneficial arrangement. And that's really why career circles matter. We've talked about public layoff communities like LinkedIn, Reddit, Slack groups, and I still think those groups are valuable. They can be bigger, they are faster moving, and they may want to offer great solutions, but they're difficult to personalize. So this feels like a much smaller community that has more personalization to it, which means there's a potential for you to get greater value. So a career circle is different because it's smaller, as we mentioned. It's about 3 to 6 people, kind of is the maximum. And we're really focusing on quality over quantity in this alignment that you're going to get from this smaller career circle. I encourage folks to think about meeting regularly, connecting with one another weekly, bi-weekly. You can do that for updates on leads, updates on new opportunities, to celebrate small wins, to make sure that folks are getting the accountability and support that they need when they're skill building. And also there's some emotional support components. We want to celebrate your small wins. We want folks to feel like somebody else is on the horizon, acknowledging and wishing them to be very successful in their job search. So think of a career group like a career group workout. Think of it as the additional step in your personal career fitness journey. So you show up for each other, you do the work together, and each other grows to meet their own individual goals or their professional needs. I'm going to hit you with another unpopular opinion. We're not meant to do this alone. And when I say this, I mean life, I mean career, I mean developing ourselves, I mean all of this. This myth of self-made individuals is something that I feel holds a lot of us back because we don't reach out for support and resources. And there may be people right within arm's reach that are willing to be that support system. And we just don't tap into it because oftentimes we're under this belief that we're meant to do this alone. Here's the truth. Unfortunately, most professionals don't have these smaller, more intimate networks, and they're trying to figure things out alone behind closed doors. And often that's where the struggle and the difficulty really gets amplified in the isolation of navigating these career transitions, layoffs, and separations. But those who do have these smaller groups that they're networking with, move smarter. They're able to move faster, and they're able to leverage collective knowledge, learning, understanding, and resources, which is such an accelerator. So a career circle can look like just a solid group of individuals, someone who is connecting multiple individuals, and sometimes it can be in the same network or friend group. Sometimes it can be somewhere that you're inviting other people from different parts of your life. So we're connecting groups of people who are like-minded and willing to support and share resources. And then we want to make sure that there's someone who's in the group that's keeping us challenged, really pushing us to sustain our accountability to our goals. We said that we wanted to have a number of applications done by this time. We said that we wanted to go to a certain number of networking events. We said that we wanted to push for conferences or make sure that we work on our storytelling and our narrative, that we're holding one another accountable from a place of love and real consideration. And then we want to be able to track that. We want to either have one master document where we're all tracking our progress, or we want to encourage each of us to have an individual tracker so that we can visualize our goals and keep them organized. And it also allows us to set reminders against how are we going to break down our time to get to the goal that we want. So we need someone who's going to hold us accountable in the group, and that can be a role that everyone plays. We need someone who's going to help keep us on track for the goals that we set up. That can be a role that everyone plays. And we need someone who's going to help us be accountable. And that's a role that everyone plays. So I love this idea that we are coming together just to make sure that we touch base, and just being in another person's presence, virtually or in person, can really drive accountability, that you then go home and feel obligated to let me do the thing I said I was going to do because I told my group I was going to do it. And it can be a really healthy, virtuous cycle. So as we think about how you structure these, it is going to be up to you. It's going to be very personal. Do you meet on Zoom? Do you get on Teams? Do you get on Google Meet? Do you have an agenda that you structure? Or are you really focusing on what one or two priorities are, which is the number of connections being made, or the number of interviews that we were able to land or accomplish? Really thinking about what is going to add value for all the people in this small group. And then we want to commit to what's going to happen the next time. What are we still working on? What do we still need? And what are we going to discuss the next time that we're together? So there's lots of themes that we can come out of and use based on our previous series or the other episodes in this series. We can do resume reviews in this group. We can do interview prep in this group. We can give LinkedIn feedback in this group. We can also identify conferences or networking opportunities that will be valuable in this group. There's lots of value that you can create mutually, and it comes via a 30-minute or 45-minute time investment for like-minded individuals who want to be a part of this smaller community. So there are all kinds of tips and tools. I love lots of technology platforms that can be taken advantage of in order to track progress, share documents, to share leads in the group communication channel, via WhatsApp, via text message, you name it. So those are some pro tips in order to get organized and in order to make sure that there are visual signals of the progress that you're making. But ultimately, the tremendous value is in the community and in the multiplication of your efforts. So starting a career circle doesn't have to be complicated, and we can give a couple of step-by-steps to help get you started. So identify 1 to 4 people in addition to yourself that would be interested. These could be former coworkers. They could be people from a layoff group. They could be connections that you made on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Reddit connections. All of these places are rich treasure troves of areas that you can move from a very online public community into more of an offline community that is smaller and can be a more valuable proposition to you and to the folks that are in the group. Invite them to participate. Let them know you're putting together a small group and you want to share job leads, interview help. You want each other to be there to support one another for their successes and for their lessons, and to make sure that you give each other the level of accountability that all of us can benefit from. So we meet at this frequency. Would you be interested, right? We're just making a general ask because we know that lots of people may or may not be in a job search right now. But even if they're not in a job search right now, they may need this information for the future, or they may be in an organization that they know has more resources that they want to share and get it out to broader audiences. So when we think about these kinds of communities and starting them with people that we're deeply connected to or people that we're just getting close to, we want to be mindful of protecting the best interests of the group. So maintaining confidentiality and maintaining that we're going to be generally positive in our disposition as we move this forward, because we don't need any more negative news about what's happening in the market. We know the realities of the market. We talked about it, and we need this community to help us be accountable and help us multiply our impact as we're in our search process. So in the comments, if you would like to join a circle like this, if this rides with you and it's aligning, drop in the comments a thumbs up. It'll help me to know if this aligns with the way that you see building community in your job search that could be valuable to you. So you want to start by inviting the people in, and then you want to start by having conversations that feel really productive for the group. Sometimes every now and again, we may just need to lament, right? We may just need to get it off our chest because we're having a tough week. And then it gives us an opportunity to reconnect to what our goals are and what supports we're putting in place, what new adjustments we're making to our strategy. Maybe we're thinking about starting a side hustle. Maybe we're thinking about changing and making a career pivot as a result. These are great forums to be able to discuss those things with your group. So remember, it's okay for you to transition in or out of these career circles because it's going to meet the needs of the individual. And ideally, it would stay alive and new people would be able to be introduced, or it could go on pause temporarily when folks have all their needs met. And then it can be reemerged, or it can reemerge as something that is exciting as you're thinking about developing in your career, in the organization that you've chosen to give your time to. So some circles could last a few months, others could last years. It really depends on what your needs are. But the impetus that I really want to give to everyone is to make sure that you get started. The ripple effect is the circle doesn't just help you. It changes how you show up for others and others show up for you. People who are supported and have the resources that they need apply more consistently to new roles. They interview with more confidence. They negotiate stronger offers. They support others when it's their turn to lead, and they share resources more freely. We're operating from an abundance mindset when you're in a group setting, not a scarcity mindset. And that can make a huge difference. So layoff survivors, people like me, people like lots of folks who are with me live or listening to this on the replay, can really become career architects or career resource supporters. It is a lot of the reason why I believe the work that I'm doing is so valuable to people, because I have navigated layoffs and transitions myself personally, and I've also supported numbers of other professionals to get to the other side of these kinds of career transitions. So we want to shift from being reactive to really proactive, to thinking about, if I need great resources in making a career shift or career transition, I want to start those conversations or build those networks and communities ahead of time. Ideally, build it before we need it, or build it as soon as you know you need it, and then do the work to sustain it. So we want to move from believing it has to be a solo trek or believing that you have to be self-made to creating community and feeling supported through thoughtful, like-minded individuals, because we want to move from layoff to liftoff in the way that makes sense for us. So we're super excited that you spent the time to join us for this entire series. And we believe that the rise of layoff communities is going to be the transformation that we all need in order to navigate the market of today. The 2025 job market is something that is unique. It's not like anything else we've ever seen before. So it requires us to be thoughtful and to do things that are different than maybe would have been if we would have seen a similar job shift in previous administrations or in previous economic states. So I want to make sure that we continue to invest in building these communities. So if this worked out for you and this series was helpful, I want you to get started on your own. If you want to form a career circle, you can drop career circle in the chat, and then I can help to direct folks towards resources for a smaller group of people who are also a part of this Career Gems for the Journey community that's interested in being a part of a career circle, but doesn't know where to start. I want to support and participate in a way that makes sense to support the community that we are building here. So if you know someone who is ready to take that step, or it's you and you're ready to take that step, drop a hit thumbs up in the comments or drop career circle in the comments. We'd love to hear what is already working for you. If there's something that you want to share or you've already implemented an idea like this, let's crowdsource great information as we think about this next phase. So remember, your career does not have to be a solo focus. It is your journey, but it is something that is evolving, and community can be a tremendous benefit and add value in order to support you during your transitions. So until next time, keep showing up for yourself and make this journey work for you. Make sure you share this episode if you're with me on YouTube or you're with me on LinkedIn. Sharing and getting the information out to a broader network is the first step in building really thoughtful, well-invested communities. Until next time, I appreciate you for riding with me, and we're going to get started on a new standalone episode the next time that we're together. And shout out for that. I'm also going to do a question and answer session the next time we're together live. So because we've given out so many resources, I want to make sure that I hear from you. I hear your questions, and we can make sure that we'll answer the questions live, or you can contribute to the questions by emailing us at info@gemsforthejourney.org ahead of time, and then I will answer listener, participant, viewers' questions live. It is the first time that we've done this in a while, but I think that because we've given out so much rich and dense information, folks may be in a place where they're looking to ask some questions and looking to personalize the advice that has come out through this Layoff to Liftoff series, and I want to support you in that way. So if you're with me next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be doing a Q&A series. You can submit your questions via email, or you can join us live and drop your questions in the chat. I'm looking forward to connecting with all of you. Until then, I'll see you next time.